Welcome back to Psyche Up, where we delve into the fascinating world of human behavior. In today's video, we will uncover 10 mind-blowing psychological facts that will leave you astonished. So, let's jump right in. Number 1. The mere exposure effect. This is the phenomenon where people tend to develop a preference for things that they are familiar with, even if they have no real reason to. This is why you might find yourself liking a song or a product more after you have heard it or seen it a few times. So why does this happen? Researchers believe that our brains interpret familiarity as a signal of safety and non-threat. When we encounter something repeatedly, it becomes associated with positive emotions and comfort. Number 2. The anchoring effect. This is the tendency for people to rely too heavily on the first piece of information they are given when making a decision. For example, if you are buying a car and the first salesperson you talk to tells you that the car you want is worth $20,000, you are more likely to be willing to pay that price, even if it's actually worth less. So why does this happen? Psychologists believe that our minds tend to latch onto the first piece of information we encounter as a reference point. It becomes the anchor against which we compare subsequent information. Number 3. The sunk cost fallacy. This is the tendency for people to continue investing in something, even when it's clear that it's not a good investment, because they do not want to lose the money they have already put into it. For example, you might decide to finish a book that you're not enjoying, even though you are halfway through, because you do not want to admit that you wasted your time starting it. So why does this happen? Psychologists suggest that our aversion to losses and our desire to avoid admitting mistakes play a significant role. Our minds tend to focus on what we have already invested, rather than objectively evaluating the future outcomes. Number 4. The confirmation bias. This is the tendency for people to seek out information that confirms their existing beliefs, and to ignore information that contradicts them. For example, if you believe that a certain political candidate is the best choice, you are more likely to pay attention to news stories that support that belief, and to ignore news stories that contradict it. So why does this happen? Psychologists suggest that confirmation bias arises from our innate need for cognitive consistency. We tend to feel more comfortable and secure when our beliefs align with the information we encounter. Number 5. The foot in the door technique. This is a persuasion technique where someone is asked to do a small favor, and then later asked to do a larger favor. The idea is that if the person agrees to do the small favor, they are more likely to agree to do the larger favor, even if it's something they would not have agreed to do if they had been asked to do it right away. So why does this technique work? Psychologists believe that it operates on the principle of consistency. Once we commit to a small request, we feel a psychological pressure to align our actions with our prior commitments. This desire for internal consistency makes it more likely for us to comply with subsequent requests. Number 6. The bystander effect. This is the phenomenon where people are less likely to help someone in need if there are other people around. This is because people tend to assume that someone else will help, and they do not want to look like they are doing more than they have to. So why does this happen? Psychologists propose several factors that contribute to the bystander effect. One is the diffusion of responsibility, where individuals feel less personally responsible when others are present. They assume that someone else will take charge, leading to inaction. Number 7. The social proof effect. This is the tendency for people to follow the actions of others, even if those actions are harmful or irrational. For example, if you see a lot of other people buying a certain product, you are more likely to buy it yourself, even if you do not really need it. So why does this happen? Psychologists propose that herd mentality is driven by various factors. One key aspect is the need for social acceptance and a sense of belonging. We tend to seek validation and security in conforming to the actions of others. Number 8. The illusion of control. This is the belief that we have more control over events than we actually do. For example, we might believe that we can control the weather, or that we can make our sports team win by wearing our lucky jersey. So why does this happen? Psychologists propose that the illusion of control arises from our innate desire for mastery and predictability. It's a way for us to feel more secure and confident in the face of uncertain or uncontrollable events. Number 9. The fundamental attribution error. This is the tendency to attribute other people's behavior to their internal traits, while attributing our own behavior to external factors. For example, if someone cuts us off in traffic, we might think that they are an inconsiderate driver, but if we cut someone off, we might think that we were in a hurry. So why does this happen? Psychologists suggest that the fundamental attribution error stems from our natural inclination to simplify complex social situations. It's easier for our brains to categorize behavior based on personality traits rather than considering the complex interplay of external factors. Number 10. The self-serving bias. This is the tendency to take credit for our successes, while blaming our failures on external factors. For example, if we get a good grade on a test, we might think that it's because we are smart, but if we get a bad grade, we might think that it's because the test was too hard. So why does this happen? Psychologists suggest that the self-serving bias serves as a protective mechanism for our self-esteem and self-image. Taking credit for successes enhances our self-worth, while shifting blame for failures helps us preserve a positive self-perception. That concludes our exploration of these 10 fascinating psychological facts about human behavior. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to like and subscribe to Psyche Up for more mind-expanding content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.